Welcome to this week's Eternal Monday. Today we have a bit of a different one for you. Today we're going to have Dragapult face off against itself. These are two different Dragapult EX lists. We just want to showcase the power of this particular deck and how it can handle itself in a mirror match.
Chance. I'll go first. Card attack, if you want.
Of a start of Baltoy versus Assault of Dreepy.
The toiletry stuff. Going back in for another.
What'd you get off the mysterious treasure? I didn't see.
The Dreepy.
Dreepy. And then I'm going back in for using another mysterious treasure. Getting rid of the pouch down.
Getting rid of Folkstone, I feel, was a pretty bold choice.
Yeah.
Because Claydol is never really going to be your active, which means at this point you're limiting your options to get that Baltoy out of the active spot. Or else you're just hoping that your opponent knocks it out for you. It doesn't make me wonder what the rest of the time looks like.
And then
Anybody popping on our opponent's side here? I'd imagine probably a Dreepy and Baltoy situation, or even a Dreepy and Tans. Maybe just Dreepy and Dreepy even. Player here doing a bit of prize checking, seeing what's locked up in the prize cards. In this matchup in particular, it's really critical to know where your outs are. Opting for double GP. Which is especially funny considering right now the player who just dropped double Dreepy has a happy pair of Dreepy on his bag.
Well, I have one of them on here right now. The other one's
Okay,
at
well.
home.
Yeah, Dreepy. Arvin is being played as a sport of choice. Eyeing up. Ooh, we have judgment appearance here.
And then I magically summon a giant cat.
That's Judge. That's Judge.
That's Judge Cat.
That's a Judge. She does need to move though.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Cam.
Oh, Footstone.
Gotcha.
Even with Flipstone.
Going back in?
No.
I know a popular choice for this particular deck is Muscle Band as a tool card. You're going to mostly be two-shotting your opponent's Dragapult in this matchup, so I do understand why Muscle Man would not necessarily be the target of toys. It's with or without Muscle Man. You're just meh. That Floatstone is going on the ball toy, something it did not do on the opponent's side.
Fight for 40.
Ball toy takes hit, but is not killed.
Nah, I'm right. I learned my lesson last time.
It's almost like that Dragapult comes out real fast if you let Lance Prism Star activate.
Yeah.
Lance Prism Star is a crazy good card in this deck. If you're not familiar with Lance Prism Star is a Prism Star card that allows you, if one of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn due to damage, or actually I don't even have to say due to damage, I think just period, you are able to drop 3 or 2. 2, right? Dragon Pokemon directly to the bench.
2?
It's very good.
I know at least 2. I think it's 2, and then Lance itself, not Lance.
Yeah,
Prism
Lance
Stars,
is
3.
yeah, it's. I'm looking at the card, so I want the exact wording. Lance Prism Star says you can only play this card if one of your Pokemon was knocked out
Are
during
you
your
going
opponent's
back
last turn.
No.
Search your deck for up to 2 Dragon Pokemon, put them on your bench. So it specifies Dragon Pokemon, but it does not specify basic Dragon Pokemon, which lets you do stuff like
Seven
put
and done.
Dragapult EX directly to the bench. You can put other tech Dragon Pokemon on the bench directly. The list that the player whose turn is currently the current turn has some tech Pokemon here. They're stage 2 Pokemon. They're Dragon types, but there's no bottom line for them. There's no basic or even stage 1.
Using Cosmic Power.
They can only ever come out
to
via
drop
Lance.
5.
So if you are watching this, there's not going to be a bonus video on Wednesday. I am currently in the process of moving. We have most of my stuff in the new place, but things are very discombobulated. Working on getting things situated. So this is the only video this week for the Monday Wednesday combo. There will be a live stream on Saturday. Just keep an eye out for that. A GP and a Baltoy come down. Oh no, that's a Baltoy and a
Pidgey, yeah.
Pidgey come down. The yellow made it almost look like a dragon type from the single. Imagine dragon type Pidgey that you could get with the serious treasure.
Or Stormy Mountain.
Or Stormy Mountain.
Oh yeah, Stormy Mountain. Grab that.
But you could do it both with that. The cat, very inquisitive on all the new things and things that are warned him. Interesting choice. Scoop of Cyclone, putting that Baltoy back into the hand. Burning a base spec per game here, but at least it gets the 3P in the active spot. Baltoy damage played all rather. The active. See double dragon energy attachment on the Dreepy. Waiting for that rare candy Dragapult.
And then bite for 40.
And we are not seeing that knockout here. Going for that 40 damage. Feels really risky because you have to pretty much assume that the opponent has Dragapult EX. Or at least has access to it. Muscle Band going down on a benched Dreepy. Muscle Band is very similar to Vitality Band, but it adds 20 damage instead of 10. Which is the universal plus 20. Very good card in the Eternal format, and especially in this deck. Buddy Buddy Puffman going to find 2 Pokemon of 70 HP or less. Puts them directly to the bench so you don't benefit from any on-play effects like you would otherwise. Still good stuff. Just a Dreepy, 1 card only.
Be a seeker for Arvin. Play Arvin.
Okay. Arvin is going to guarantee us an Evolution Incense. Could get us a rare candy theoretically, but you would need to have a Rotom V in play, or something like a Luminion V.
And play Evolution Incense.
Right on the evolution of choice here. Gonna have to assume that you're not gonna get the Dragapult out, but we need both Dragapult and Rare Candy to be evolved. That active Dreepy. The good thing is here, the Dreepy can be evolved up into Dracloak. Could take a knockout. Before this Dreepy goes down, the energy goes down with it. Ideally, of course, the Dragapult would take down the Pidgeot with it.
Power for her.
4.
4.
An insanely good cosmic power here. Evolution Instance going back into the deck. Grabbing a Dracloak. Dracloak coming out. Dracloak has that really awesome ability that lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You pick one of them, put it into your hand, put the other on the bottom of your deck. Very reminiscent of Airmail if you're familiar with Pidgey from Team Up. And of course from a see the legs.
Recon Directive.
Here we see the rare candy. The active Dracloak, or Dreepy rather, is evolving straight into Dragapult, skipping Dracloak.
And then we are going to Phantom Dive, and we're going to put 4 on Pidgey and 2 on Baltoy.
That's actually devastating. Yeah, the math works out to 80 for the full HP on Claydol, right?
Yeah.
Which makes that a perfect knockout for a second hit from Dragapult EX. Counter energy is basically a double rainbow energy when you're down on prize cards. Currently, the player who played it is down because the opponent took 2 prize cards last turn. The benched Claydol has evolved into a. Sorry, the benched Baltoy evolved into Claydol. And that Pokemon being played down to guarantee they don't get wiped out of the game.
Use Strong Mountains.
Before that Baltoy went down, simply getting hit by Dragapult again would guarantee double knockout and game. But now we have both Bulkaway and whatever is being taken off. Stormy Mountain. Stormy Mountain is a stadium card from Evolving Skies. Able to find a basic lightning or basic dragon type Pokemon and put it on the bench. Our player is choosing to fail the Stormy Mountains, or otherwise has no choice but to fail Stormy Mountains. Common choice for players who are using Stormy Mountains is to find Rotom V, especially early on in the game. Rotom V gives you an out to draw 3 cards early on, and also gives you a way to make use of Forest Seal Stone, which lets you search your deck any cards you want.
Use Cosmic Power for 1 and draw 5 cards.
Cosmic Power is drawing 5 cards. For an item and a tool card.
And
So,
then
Muscle Band and Evolutionism.
use Evolution.
Finds a Dragapult EX. That is quite the surprise. Didn't know whenever. At this point, we do need to see over candy, or that Dragapult is going to stay a small child. Trade off with Arvin, of course, is you can only get 1 item, so you kind of have to hope and pray that you get the Hurricane enhanced some other way. Do you see a Hurricane though? That it all did its job.
Phantom Dive for 220, and then do 40 here and 40 here, and 20 there.
Just enjoys a split.
Is it 40 and 2?
Yeah, 42. Oh,
Scoop up Cyclone.
Never see the opposing scoop up Cyclone. This is definitely what you would expect typically from the Dragapult deck here. Using it to scoop up that Dragapult EX straight to the hand and get rid of a bunch of damage counters on it.
Counter energy.
Counter energy is being lost zoned here, which means unfortunately for our player, they will have to find some other way to power up their Pokemon. With counter energy in the lost zone and double dragon energy in the discard pile, that leaves them with just 3 energy left in their deck.
Mysterious Treasure.
And we don't know how many of those are prized.
Directive. Cosmic Power for 3. That's evolve. That just came down on me. Recon Directive. Recon Directive. And we will Phantom Dive, and we will put 6 on the Claydol.
That is meant to knock out the Claydol. That puts that Dragapult in range of a knock your next turn. Our player here with the very injured Dragapult no longer has Scoop Up Cyclone at his fancy. So it's a very dangerous move now. Just see Radiant Alakazam come down to move some damage around.
I'll use handful of spoons to move 2 damage counters from the Dragapult to the Claydol. And
Do you have any options?
pass.
Fortunately, that counter energy getting lost on major damage here to the opposing Dragapult player. A lot of times when you're playing this match, just disrupting your opponent's strategy in a big way like that.
Do you want me
Really
to play
causes
out
big
what I
impact.
would do, or
Play out what
Just
you
game.
play. Just play out what you
Just,
play.
no, just game it, because honestly, I have a deck hand and I can't do nothing.
because I
about it.
mean, game is like literally swing there and put 6 on the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phantom Dive for knockout there, and then 6 on the ball toy.
Because literally, what I was. Yeah. Look,
No, so when I
Okay.
had
2 Dreepy, a Dragapult, a Pidgey,
Claydol.
and a Claydol.
yeah,
And a
Rickenny.
Rickenny is actually pretty rough rising.
Yeah.
yeah. So honestly, that's what I was like trying to get for. I'm like,
But at the same time, the strategy here to cut out your energy really hurt.
yeah.
Because you had one in the discard pile already from that early turn Dreepy getting knocked out. You had that counter energy get lost on by Faba. That strips you down to just 3 energy, which you do play Guzman Hollow, but you had no way to get it, right?
No, I
Because
didn't.
The deck plays Tapu Lele, but you didn't have access. Well, no, you did have access to it.
Yeah, but I had to get. I had to
But you
get.
played.
I needed 2 Drapies.
What do you think? Did he need 2 Dreepies?
On the bench past the first one?
Mm-hmm.
No, you would, unless you literally have the just obscene buddies and Stormy Mountain, then yeah, flood your
Yeah.
the Dreepies. Otherwise, you at least want 2 Dreepies and like in the mirror match, you want ideally 2 Dreepies and 2 Baltoys. That's your ideal.
Because you need as much. draw as
Honestly, I
possible.
did not want to tell you ahead of this game.
Yeah.
In this matchup, don't ever bench that Pidgey.
That Pidgey's just it's
Yeah.
viciously.
Because
My
it's
original
literally
deck doesn't
squishy.
even play Pidgey because of how squishy it is.
Right.
And like when I was playing against John at NA, and every time I played the Dragapult mirror when I had the Pidgeys in here, unless I started it, I never ever
Had it played down.
no.
Yeah.
The only time I would ever play it down is if I went first, and I knew I had the candy to spare for the Pidgeot.
Let's go ahead and look at these 2 deck lists. They are a bit distinct. So this first one is the build that won the game here. I'll let its pilot explain his choices.
I mean, if you know me, I've been running Dragapult for a while, since what NA that first tournament.
Right here, wasn't it? Didn't we have a
We
tournament
we had it built before then. We were playing it.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's
I-
right. Because we built it for first drafts.
Yeah. So I've been playing it for a while. If you pay attention honestly to my posts that I make on Twitter, I have changed the deck over the course of the time that I've been playing it, and it's still continuously changed just because like stuff constantly changes that I feel I need techs against and all that. So the changes I made to this version were I had a 2/2 Pidgeot line in. I dropped that and Guzman Hala. I threw in Tapu Lele GX just because like having that supporters search while also being able to mysterious treasure for it is really good. Originally I was very skeptical about adding that because I've played this matchup with that being on my opponent's bench, and it is just a very nice squishy 2-pricer for Dragapult.
It's funny too because my build of this deck has always run the Lele.
It's always run the Lele and the Rotom. And that's the whole reason why I did not like them, is because they are very squishy two-pricers for Guzma.
They are squishy, but and especially in this matchup, you need to.
But yeah, it does help. I now run 3 Guzma because there's a lot of talk of stall over the past like 2 weeks. So I was like, you know what? I'll play 3 Guzma. I added in a Faba, literally for any matches that run a lot of special energy. So like this one, obviously, I'm gonna Faba the energies, utilize VS Seeker to do Faba again.
Yeah, and there's also like the Ultra Necrozma matchup that's very special energy heavy. And then there's always like
Paparaja even.
Caparaja can be, but I think more than that even, it's getting rid of some tools in some matchups.
Yeah, which is
Like
very
Garbodor.
big on Caparaja, Garbodor.
Garbodor, especially in Urshifu, is really big because if you can loss on their tools, Urshifu's version of Garbodor only runs like what 5 tools usually.
Yeah, like 5
So
or 6.
and they're gonna lose some of them fairly early on. So if you can start lossing a few of them, they don't have any way to recur those tools, and it makes it very hard for them.
One has to go to their V.
Honestly, I think Faba is one of the reasons that the matchup for Dragapult against Urshifu is so good. Because it just basically says, you know what, screw you, I don't think you get a chance to play the game.
Guzma Hala, we already talked about how it's able to go search out a Stadium, a tool, and a special energy. Iono and Marnie are for disruption. Lance Prism Star. Honestly, I have actually never played Lance Prism Star since I added it in.
It's such a good card.
It is such a good card when you get it off, but I have never been into the position that I have actually been able to actually use it versus a different supporter in my hand that would just do something better for me in that instance.
That blows my mind because usually when I have Lance Prism Star available to me, that's the play. I can drop a Dragapult down, I can drop a Dracloak down, I can immediately have a Dragapult down that cannot be removed from play via TM Devolution. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons you really do need the Lance Prism Star in the deck, because it makes you immune to your opponent just devolving all your Pokemon. Yeah. You can't devolve a Dracloak that was put into play with Lance Prism Star. You just can't do that.
I think Pokemon Ranger was in my original Dragapult list, and it has never left, and I don't think it will ever leave. It actually helped NA that first tournament because I got item locked by a Banette.
Not clear.
Well, I got item locked by a Shuppet on their first turn going second, and I was like, oh hey, Pokemon Ranger, I can now play my items. So it very much helps out in that. If for whatever reason you're running online or somebody's crazy enough to build it, unlike me, in an IRL, helps with Light Jolteon matchup as well.
Yep, Light Jolteon goes down to it too. Or it can go down to
it. Can go down to
it. Light Jolteon is still such that
Ranger
Ranger isn't really enough for Light Jolteon.
Yeah, but I feel like the Dragapult matchup in Light Jolteon is more favored in Dragapult than it is.
I think so too, but
only because like it can easily get that Ranger as long as you don't prize the Ranger. But even then, like as long as they don't have the big Parasol on their active, like okay, I can still put damage counters on your bench, so it's not going.
They're gonna slap that thing down as fast as they can find it.
Yeah,
they're gonna greens for it right away.
Mysterious Treasure, Buddy Poppins, Evo Incense, Rare Candy, VS Seekers. Pretty much all the items leading up to POW Hand Extension are pretty self-explanatory. They're in a lot of lists. POW Hand Extension is
one of is the right number.
If I'm behind on prizes, it either acts as a counter catcher, or let's say they have a Baltoy or Alakazam in play, because I've had it happen to me very much a lot.
Water Pokemon Master several times too at NAIC.
Where somebody will be behind on prizes, and they will all of a sudden move my Dragon Energy to a Psychic, and it automatically discards it because it's no longer attached to a Dragon. Yep. So it's actually in that instance in the mirror match better just moving the energy than it is gusting something.
Mm-hmm.
Scoop Up Cyclone, obviously it helps with the math, fixed math. Special Charge is to put the double dragon energies, or if for whatever reason you need the counter energy back in the deck, cool. It puts them back in. Yeah. Floodstone's kind of self-explanatory. Muscle Band, there's actually been a lot of times I want 2 of those things.
That card is stupid good. I remember you put it in one of your early builds when we.
I've
you put it in
actually
your
had it
NAIC
since
build.
it's been in it since the start, and
And
that thing has
I've
gotten
seen it fix
so
so much math.
many 3-price turns.
Yeah, it's so nasty. That one card makes a huge difference.
Speaking of another card that makes a huge difference, and considering a deck that I played, what was it, last week? That was so one of my friends in person built kind of a deck to try to counter Dragapult. His counter to Dragapult gets countered by TM Devo. It is a very brutal card in that matchup.
Which is funny because Techno Machine Evolution was not designed. To
No,
take down
it's
this
actually originally
matchup.
designed for Water Box.
For the record, it was originally designed to go against Blastoise Water Box because Chen Pao is such a threat because they can just knock you out in one hit. But here's the thing: it works really well against Articuno Lock too. When Articuno Lock is trying to shut off your special energy with Dragapult
Or items.
or with Dusclops, Dusknoir.
Dusknoir and then the item lock file.
Yeah, and so you can just devolve them completely with Techno Machine Evolution. They've at that point likely burned their rare candies or don't have access to a rare candy immediately, or could even only get like one back in the first place, and it causes their whole strategy to kind of fall apart pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Which when Dragapult is thrashing the board as fast as it does, and you don't have a chance to recover, that's really bad.
And then Story Mountain to get your GBs. Then obviously Double Dragon Energy is what lets Dragapult attack for big numbers very fast. And then Counter Energy, if you're behind on prizes, it acts as a Rainbow Energy for like a double Rainbow Energy as long as you're behind on prizes.
That's really good. That said, the other deck list was a little bit different. It had some, so your build was very focused on consistency. This one is more on experimentation, I think.
Is this the experimentation one, or is this one that you have changed since we kind of
So
highlighted yours?
this is
and mine?
not my list at all. This is Joe's list.
Okay.
So this was the list that our friend here played. Bit of an experimentation with the Dragonite. Dragonite going to do a bit of damage there. It is still running the Pidgeot line. I don't actually like the Pidgeot line in the deck. I know you ran it in your list at NAIC.
I can kind of actually put some input on this because Joe actually built this after NA.
Mm-hmm.
And he took a lot of inspiration for his list actually from my original one. So that's why, and he really liked the Pidgeot line. And like the Pidgeot line, it does actually really help in certain matchups, just not the mirror match. The mirror match, it is absolutely terrible.
I just feel like Dragapult doesn't need the Pidgeot engine on top of
it. It honestly really helped in a Charizard match.
I just feel like it's too much.
I feel like if you went to like a 1-1 line, it would be like doable for like a Charizard match, but past that, it's like
there is. So in this particular list, he's got a Dragonite. So a Dragonite here, I believe it's from Silver Tempest.
yeah, it's the Silver Tempest one.
So to be honest, I don't know why he's included this. So
I don't know either.
you would think that it would be for like accelerating basic energy because you could use Energy Hurricane to do that and get some energy into play, but you don't run any basic energy, so that's not really the thing. You're doing 180 damage, but not accelerating anything. I don't think it's worth it to play.
I'll talk to Joe about that one.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's worth it.
I think that Salamence makes a little more sense.
The Salamence is okay, I think.
It makes more sense than the
Salamence,
Dragonite.
it has use, especially against Light Jolteon. So Salamence has the ability to Intimidate and Roar. Once during your turn, you may have your opponent switch their active with one of their bench Pokemon. The problem is, in the Light Jolteon matchup, Light Jolteon isn't going to take any prize cards for you to get this into play in the first place. So at this point, it doesn't make Salamence any good.
Yeah.
And a lot of the matchups where you would want an effect like this, the other deck isn't going to be taking prize cards, and so I don't think Salamence is worth it either.
You would literally have to, honestly, you could probably cut to make it a little, like if you wanted to go down to, like one thing that I might talk to Joe about is if he wants to go down to, like if he still likes the Pidgeot, choose which one he wants to keep. You probably honestly choose the 1 pricer rather than the 2 pricer.
Yeah.
The
The thing
you
I
can
would
cut that down to a 1/1 and the Dragonite, and he could throw in probably 1/1/1 line for the Salamence, and then have another card like possibly even
Don't
throw
think
in a
it's almost
4th for
worth it.
Candy.
I would cut personally. I would cut both Dragonite and the Salamence. I would consider putting in a single copy of Ultra Necrozma, the baby one from Cosmic Eclipse.
Yeah.
Because late game, it's a single prize attacker. You can throw in the active, attach double dragon, or counter energy to it. Force your opponent to either gust around it or hit through it. If they hit through it, it's a single prize
I think
card.
that would actually be a better option than the Dragonite.
I think it's better than both of them because that forces them into a single prize contention where they have to take out either a single prizer with 2 prize cards left.
And they would
Like,
have to find
no,
energy.
to be fair, you can only use that Ultra Necrozma later on in the game because unlike a dedicated Ultra Necrozma deck, you don't have Garbotoxin shutting off the ability, preventing you from attacking. So you do have to actually wait until your opponent is very late in the game.
And hope you don't start it.
Yeah, and which also sucks. But it is an idea for a potential attacker in this as a single prize card. I just think Dragapult is one of the strongest, if not the strongest cards, or the strongest decks rather, in the format. And the fact that it has been so incredibly dominant at basically every tournament since NAIC.
Every tournament that Dragapult has actually been ran in, it's gotten top 2.
Yeah, it goes to finals every single time. And it's won all but one of them?
2. Well, no, yeah, 1.
All but one.
That's the one that Joe got second.
So how many tournaments is that? How many keep track?
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row.
So it's won 6 in a row.
Well, it's been in the finals 6 in a row. It's
Okay.
won
5
5
of the 6.
because the one that Joe got second was the one that I ran like Jolteon.
Right.
And then the one after that, I lost with Dragapult to Dragapult in the finals. And then I won last week with Dragapult. And I won both NAs and the one when we came back after NA with all 3 with Dragapult.
Yeah, Dragapult is super potent. And it's very hard to defend against, too.
Yeah. Because there is a few of our friends in our group have literally like a list of like 8 or 10 Eternal decks that they want to play, and they've said it multiple times. They just can't play it because Dragapult.
Yeah, Dragapult's so potent.
Would you say that the most potent thing about Dragapult is honestly the 6 damage counters?
Yeah, it's 6 damage counters. That makes it so that a lot of evolving decks just can't.
It would be a lot less potent if it was just 3, right?
Even 4 would be much more easy. Even 5 would honestly be fine. 6 is just a lot. That makes it
6 knocks out a lot.
It really is nasty.
Like everybody's having like, even though they want to run the 60 HP versions of certain stuff because they're
can't.
better than the 70s, they just can't because Dragapult. It's a Dragapult world.
I mean, even players even decks where the basics have only a 60 HP or lower version, the decks are forced to run 60 HP versions of it so that you can't spread those extra damage counters to other Pokemon. Like it's warping how decks are built pretty drastically. Yeah, it's interesting. But that is it for today's bonus. This is not a bonus video. This is Eternal Monday. That is it for today's Eternal Monday. Kind of a breakdown of Dragapult and see how it works, see how it plays out. Like I said, it's a really strong deck. It's super potent. Maybe a little too potent, frankly. But
I don't think so.
anyway,
I think so too.
anyway, that is it for today. We will see you guys on Saturday.